Today on the Nerdy Gritty, trailer trash. Should movie previews have content that don't actually show up in the movie?
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Nerdy Gritty, where we delve deep into the details of pop culture. I'm Fox.
I'm Dez. And guess what, Fox?
What?
We are not recording in my office.
We're not.
And, I mean, there's a little bit of an echo in here.
Yeah, I got some background noise, but...
Yeah, but I actually kind of like... You got a new setup in
here. I got
a
sweet setup. Free desk. Desk from one of my other best friends' parents who happened to move out to Oregon a couple months before I did, and now our house is half filled with their furniture.
That's so nice.
This desk I have been using, actually, since I was in, like, the second grade.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it was in there. It was his home. They moved out. Yeah, it's awesome. Same with our kitchen table.
So to put it in not the way confusing way that you just put it, your childhood friend, their parents moved to Oregon.
Yes, he lives in Texas.
Right,
but
that's stop making it more confusing.
Sorry.
Your childhood friend, their parents moved to Oregon.
Yes.
Then you moved out here as well. And you're like, hey, that's cool. And then they moved away.
No, they still live there, and they just wanted to get new furniture.
And
or just didn't have a place for
stuff. And they're like, hey, Fox, have all of our old furniture.
Yeah,
and
kitchen,
so now your house
kitchen
is
table, living room living room coffee table, this desk, I think a couple side tables.
It's a nice desk.
It's a great one. It's got these sweet shelves. That PlayStation 4 would fit in there really well. I just need to take out the back part so I can get the cables.
Yeah, so you can breathe.
But I'm very happy about it. I feel like a more professional streamer now, even though I don't really stream much.
Yeah, my setup is still putting a stool next to an armchair in my basement.
Right, that's what mine was.
Yeah, but
in the second floor.
I thought to myself I need to get a more professional setup. But then I also think to myself that would mean I'm not sitting in an armchair anymore, a recliner.
It's true. I'm intending on getting a desk, an actual nice rolling desk chair.
This could be something that we'll talk about someday. Why do fancy desk chairs cost so freaking much?
I didn't know there was a thing to talk about, so we should
There's not.
do that.
I'm joking.
Oh, we just make
that's
something
not
up.
A thing that we'd actually talk about. But that's a real thing.
Sure, they're expensive.
I mean, when we furnished our offices at the church, our actual offices, we got a budget for how much we could spend on each room.
Sure.
And one of the things was don't spend too much on a chair, but $200 on a chair would be fine. And I'm like, wait, $200 is not too much? and then I
was thinking $20.
And then I went office chair shopping, and I was like, oh, dag.
I got limited options.
$200 is not too much. Yeah.
Anyway, enough of the furniture talk.
What? Is that not what we do here?
Not generally. Anyway, what have you been up to this week?
It's my furniture.
Oh, I got you there. Good one. By nature, you're a fur.
We're not going to get into furries here.
That's what we're talking about next week. What have you been up to?
Watching more older movies with my wife, catching up on some old things, and watching some bad fantasy movies and things like that, of course. What did we watch just recently? There was something we watched that I wanted to talk about. Oh! The Mask of Zorro and The Legend of Zorro.
Okay.
So, the Antonio Banderas
movies. Fun fact, the word Zorro... As if you don't know, means fox. Yeah. And in my high school Spanish classes, when we had Spanish names, I tried to get myself to be Zorro. He wouldn't let me, though.
Oh.
Didn't make sense. It's my actual name.
Yeah.
Senor Gris. His name is Gray.
Mr. Gray.
Mr. Gray.
He'd still be Senor Gray.
Yeah, I know. He didn't like us. He didn't like us calling him Senor Gris.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we just
I was like, if he was Senor Gris because that's his last name in Spanish, why
couldn't
you be Zorro?
Hypocrito. That's Spanish for hypocrite. No, it's not.
No, it's not. I don't know how to say hypocrite in Spanish.
Mask of Zorro, Legend of Zorro.
Right. So the first one is this just fun adventure movie.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Campy, throwback to...
aware of itself. Yeah. And just real fun. Catherine Zeta-Jones, Antonio Banderas, also...
classic duo.
Anthony Hopkins.
Oh.
Yeah, Academy Award winner is in that.
Sure.
And, a couple other people in there, but it was good.
He's also Odin, so...
Yeah, which is just fine.
And weird.
Really fun movie, really, really good. And then the second one came out. I really enjoyed the second one.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
actually good?
I thought so. The Metascore is actually not great.
I don't know if I've ever seen either of them.
The Metascore is a 48 or a 58 or something like that. It's not great.
Sounds about right.
But I actually thought where the first one was just kind of this campy, fun adventure movie. Sure, give it a 70 or a 65 or whatever.
Sure.
This one actually had a lot of like character development and character depth. Like immediately, first thing, the movie begins, and Antonio Banderas and his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, are spoiler alert, they begin arguing, and Catherine Zeta-Jones is like, "When do you give this up? When is your job done?" And the whole thing is like, you're not doing this for the people anymore. You're doing this for you. And they get in this huge argument. And over time, like, they get a divorce. And there's a scene in which Antonio Banderas is in a church and he's screaming at the altar saying, "What are you doing? Like, I've been working so hard for the people. Why is this happening in my life?" And like, there's a lot of really cool character building. He has a son, and there's like you want to be this man for your son, but you're also not spending any time with your son.
Yeah.
Like, you're creating a world for your son that's a better world, but you're also never there for him. So I thought it was really great. I thought they explored a lot of really good character depth and things like that.
That's the Mask of Zorro, the second one.
Yes, that's the Mask. No, that's the Legend of Zorro.
The second one is Legend. Okay.
Yeah, the Legend of Zorro, the second one.
All right.
And I really liked it.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah. So there you go. Go watch Legend of Zorro, guys.
Out in theaters soon.
And by soon, we mean probably 1997 would be my
20
guess.
Years ago, yeah. I did 3 things I want to mention from this week. 2 movies that I saw. The first one was Solo.
Yeah.
Which was fine. That's my review.
Which is actually better than I thought it was going to be.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It did everything a movie was supposed to do. Like, it was logical. The characters were fine. Like, I didn't mind the acting. It was great. As the acting and the characters were fine. I don't like all the references to other Star Wars things, but I understand why.
Right.
And also, except for like one, which I thought was a big glaring like, okay, that's stupid. They all were natural. They were just references to Han Solo things that you already know about. So yeah whatever. So yeah, I guess go see it. It felt like it felt like the new Star Wars movie, a product. It didn't feel like something I'd ever want to watch again. Maybe someday, but whatever. I also saw a movie called Film Worker, which is a documentary about a man named Leon Vitali, who is basically, he was a like Shakespearean trained actor, great, and then was in Barry Lyndon, which is a Stanley Kubrick movie. And
who? Just kidding.
He's a little known filmmaker. And while working on that movie, he was like basically became interested in filmmaking at behind the camera because of Stanley Kubrick and the amount of detail and attention and just how a movie is made. Like, he knew about but didn't really know about.
If you're going to learn from somebody, Stanley Kubrick is...
Well, no, that's what it is. He says, like, from that movie on, he basically stops acting and becomes Stanley Kubrick's right-hand man.
Oh,
and for, like,
nice.
the rest of Stanley Kubrick's career, he is the guy. Like, if you're not talking to Stanley Kubrick, you're talking to this guy about anything that's related to his movies. He's the guy who, like, does some casting, scouting locations, like interacts with actors, kind of actually like helps actors become the characters they're supposed to become. Like R. Lee Ermey basically said his career is because of Leon Vitali, he was the drill instructor in Full Metal Jacket. Yeah, like it's really interesting, and it was a really interesting idea to kind of look at Stanley Kubrick, who's this like really mysterious, interesting guy, from that direction. And that's what I like in documentaries, when like Hero Dreams of Sushi is like, this is what Japanese culture is like if you look at it from this one man and his sushi restaurant, and it teaches you a lot about that whole world. And it was interesting. It kind of dragged in the middle because there's only so many ways that you can say, yeah, he dedicated his whole life to this. Like, kind of drags on. You're like, we get it. Let's move on a little bit. But still really interesting if you're interested in filmmaking. Right. This isn't like a catch-all, hey, everybody might find something. It's just like,
you're not going to take your family to this movie.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was worth watching. Last thing I want to mention is this weekend there was a comic book sale, and I spent money on comic books. If you don't know what Dark Knight's Metal is, it's it's a DC Universe event in which the most comic book of all comic book things happens. There's a whole, extra universe where there's evil Batmen that are also various Justice League members. I have all of these issues that I bought.
And this is not, to be clear, this isn't they're now the good guys are bad guys. This is they're evil. The goal
essentially
here is,
they are beasts.
Yeah, the goal here is these guys aren't just they want to commit crimes. These guys are murderous.
They are from the monstrous dark universe.
Yeah,
I haven't gotten super far into reading it. I've only read the first 2 issues, but yeah, they are essentially Batman monster versions of the Justice League and also the Joker and Doomsday.
Right.
Which is also kind of Superman. But it's ridiculous, and that's why I wanted to read it.
Yes.
Because the artwork is so crazy.
It's very metal.
Yes, it's heavy metal. And I love heavy metal. Heavy metal is mentioned a lot in it, but because, heavy metals, as in certain metals are used in this ritual to summon a demon beast from the dark universe, and everything I just said is actually that's a true story.
This is not the lyrics to a 12-minute song that's in 6/4 time.
Yeah, this isn't a Norwegian metal band that this is what's happening in the Justice League world, and it's really fun.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So you should read it.
I'm actually was not the previews for Solo were something that I saw a lot of. Obviously, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
And I was watching them, and I'm when I watched it, I was it doesn't look good.
Yeah, it looked to me. I had the same opinion of the movie as the trailers. Looks like the next one.
Right. Yeah.
Looks like
Rogue One was one that I was a lot more excited for.
Yeah.
Although I was a little disappointed to see that there were scenes in the trailer that did not show up in the movie. Hardcore.
Yes.
Because there were some of the best scenes in the trailer.
There was probably a good 30-40 seconds of footage in the trailer for Rogue One that was not in the movie.
I mean, just isn't this a rebellion? I rebel.
You're right.
And that's just such a
that's a good line.
We're defining a character right now.
Sure.
And then she never says that.
Right. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about today. It's a term called trailer trash.
That's right.
If you're offended, we're not. I mean,
blame Fox.
That's fine. Anyway, it's a term that I once saw in the slides they show before a movie.
Yeah.
Way back when. And I was like, oh, that's good. And I've always remembered that. Trailer trashed. And we're going to be basically debating whether or not something being cut from a trailer, not being in the movie is good or bad, or if it should happen or shouldn't happen.
So let's talk for just a second
Yes.
on why it might happen. So this is not an opinion. This is just the possibilities of it. Because something that you guys may not know is that trailers are so popular these days. Trailers are something, especially with the popularity of the internet and Facebook and Instagram, everything. Trailers are everywhere. They have trailers for trailers.
They have teaser trailers for teaser trailers.
Right.
Literally, it's like a 5-second thing. Tomorrow, a teaser trailer's coming out.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous, even especially when you compare it to what trailers used to be. Do something right now. Pause this. Go find the original trailer for Star Wars. Not even A New Hope. It was just Star Wars. And then watch Last Jedi's trailer.
Right.
And just note differences.
Small ones.
Yeah, Star Wars' trailer basically was, it's a science fiction movie in space with monsters and lasers, and you're like, it's just telling you what you're gonna see.
And the narration of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that. Yeah,
it would be a guy saying, go to space, and then Luke Skywalker being like, I'm Luke Skywalker, and then and now it's like,
it's only there's narration.
No narration is gone. That's the thing. And also, it's always just every generation has its stories, and it's supposed to be this huge world shaking dramatic.
Yeah.
All this dialogue is just so impactful, and
trailers have changed.
It's trying to get you to feel something rather than know something.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
So a lot of times they try and rush trailers out.
They do.
They really want to get them out there to get hype up for the movie, get a lot of excitement for the movie, that's fine. That's good.
Yeah,
but then there's what's called a final edit as well. And
yes.
movies have a final edit that goes through. And sometimes they make a trailer. Their third parties usually make trailers.
They do. They hire companies to use what footage they have to make a trailer.
So you send this company all the footage you have. You say, make me a trailer out of this.
Certain footage.
Yeah, and make me a trailer out of this. And they make a trailer and they put it out. And then you go and you edit it finally, and maybe you change some things.
Right.
Or maybe you're just like, this is a really good scene. It doesn't fit in the movie, but I really like this, and I think it'll sell in a 30-second increment better than in a 2-hour increment.
Yeah, sometimes it's a creative decision, and not necessarily just a result of the editing process.
Right.
A good example of seeing how trailers can change even over time, and then also compared to the movie, is watching the trailers for Suicide Squad.
Yes.
There were there's usually about 3 major trailers for a movie, and there's different regions that have different trailers, but the ones for that were very different. You can tell that based on the first trailer's reaction, fan reaction, they made heavy changes.
Yes.
And that Queen trailer is very different than the one before it. Color-wise, sound-wise, the logo itself changes.
Just the feel of the emotion behind it all.
Yeah, and we can't really say how much that changed the movie, although it's probably fair to say a lot.
Yes.
But yeah, trailers can be very different, even just a couple months out, and even compared to the final cut.
You can even go on YouTube and there's a couple. You can just Google or YouTube. Editing changes everything, and there are several YouTube pages that just will take a movie and edit clips out of it, and then put different music to it, different filters through it, and it's you can see Moana as a horror movie.
Oh, 100%.
You know what I mean?
It's
things
really
like
easy,
that.
yeah.
And so it's really interesting the way this goes. The question is it okay for them to purposefully and actively know what we're going to put out as a trailer will not be the final product that we have as a movie? Whether or not it's their choice, or whether or not they know that's the way we're going to cut it, or that's just a final cut, change things a little bit. There's still this knowledge that they have that is the trailer will not reflect our final product. Is that okay? Fox and I coming down in a little bit different camps of this.
We both, of course, usually can see both sides of the argument.
Absolutely.
But we are choosing to take the pro and con sides. I, in my actual opinion, am much more okay with it.
Right.
I actually sometimes think it's a good thing. Maybe they should.
Yeah.
And you feel...
I feel that they shouldn't.
Okay.
And, if we were to put this seriously on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 means they should never do it, and 10 means that it's incredible, they love it, we're probably actually 3.5 and 6 or
6.5
you know
to
what I mean?
7 is probably where I am.
We're both kind of middling on it anyway, but we're gonna take each side here and
and then we'll
talk
probably
about
do
it.
a little bit of.
So let me start off here because I feel like mine is kind of obvious. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Yeah. So immediately for me, there's a false advertising part there.
Okay.
Just straight up false advertising. So for me, the biggest one, the most direct and obvious one is.
The text message you're reading right now?
I'm not reading a text message. I'm turning the volume on my phone down.
All right.
And we have fancy microphones that have gain that we can turn down,
Sure.
so they probably didn't hear that.
Just look.
Anyway.
Way to interrupt it, me.
So, Rogue One. Rogue One was one that I really started noticing trailer trash. Actually, the first time I ever noticed it was with Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Oh.
First time I ever noticed it was that.
That's what made that movie bad.
Because there's a moment in which he's like, I thought you were a teacher. And in the trailer, he says, part-time.
Part-time.
And it's this
like a great moment. A great Indiana Jones moment.
Yeah, confident and strong. And he's just like, part-time. That's not all I do. But in the movies, I thought you were a teacher. Part-time.
Yeah, it's much more kinda. It changes the tone.
And it absolutely changes the tone.
I'm proud that you noticed that, because I did the same.
100%, yeah. And I noticed that, when that movie came, or when that preview came out, I saw that, and I'm like, that's a cool moment.
Yeah.
And then the movie came out, and I saw that, and I was like, come on,
it kind of ruined the feeling.
Yeah,
you had this expectation based on what you were shown about this movie, and it kind of fell off, like, it kind of took you out of the movie, which is always a bad idea.
Right, and especially because we have built 3 movies with Indiana Jones being this confidence,
Yes.
and he's doing everything on the fly. You know, there's a trope, and it's a not well used, but it's decently known, called the Indiana Jones Gambit, and that just means I'm making it up on the fly,
Making it up as I go,
and that's the Indiana Jones Gambit. And but he's always doing that, knowing it's gonna work. Like,
Right.
he's confident it's gonna work, and he's got this confidence about him. And I know that Crystal Skull was like, "Oh, this is his son. He's lost confidence now. He's feeling weird." But come on, man.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, that was a problem with the whole movie, is that
Yes.
it didn't really feel like an Indiana Jones movie.
yeah, I was waiting for Mulder and Scully to show up, but so. But in Rogue One, to me, it was the most blatant. Particularly the scene, I mean, I already talked about when she was like, you know, this is rebellion, I rebel.
Sure.
To me, again, that was another character-defining moment. Something that told us a lot about Jyn Erso. And although they did a good job telling us about Jyn Erso in the movie, that moment wasn't there. And just that like, oh, yeah, now everybody gets to know who is this woman that we're seeing.
Sure.
Also, the moment where she is up on the tower and you see a TIE fighter right behind her.
Yep. It would be in the movie placed at the end when they were on that planet trying to get the plans to the Death Star. That's what it was. Yeah. She's up at the top on basically like this ledge.
Right.
And a TIE fighter shows up right in front of her.
And to me, that's one of those things where either they shot 2 different scenes where she has to avoid a TIE fighter and it's this big epic action scene or whatever, and then they shot what actually happened, or they consciously knew, we have the scene of her walking away.
Right.
We could put a TIE fighter in there, and it would look pretty intense.
Right.
And I highly doubt that they shot an entire other scene and decided not. It's possible, but I bet you that they had that scene and thought to themselves, it looked pretty cool if we put a TIE fighter
and also
in there.
implying that Darth Vader was there, kind of.
Right.
That kind of thing.
So, to me, seeing that and then going and watching the movie, I feel cheated. And, I feel like you have given me an expectation. You literally have said, this is the movie. Come see this. And then I go and I'm like, wait. Nuh-uh. And so, to me, if you're going to show me what your movie is, live up to that expectation.
I completely understand that.
Yeah,
and I agree with you on a certain level. Like when it reaches to a point where it feels like it's false advertising, you kind of reaching into what's the term I'm looking for? Maybe like you're getting a little skeevy with it. Like, let's try to get people in the theater to watch our movie. Like, we can't really survive with what we actually have, so let's trick them into it's just like underhanded. That's the word I'm looking for. Underhanded. I, on the other hand, am a little more for trailer trash because I would prioritize the movie itself. Mm-hmm. Trailers, I definitely look at trailers as like they will get most of the time. If there's a movie, I know I'm gonna watch it or not.
Right.
I don't even need to see a trailer. Generally, like the title, because
you'll see a movie because it's out.
I will. Well, like mostly because I don't have to really pay for them anymore.
Right. But movie
pass. I literally, Film Worker was like that. I said to see a trailer and I was like, oh, cool. But on Sunday yesterday when I saw it, I was like, I got some time.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go see it. So yeah, trailers aren't as important to me, which I guess that might bias me a little bit here. But I like, I think the priority should be placed upon the film. Mm-hmm. And I think trailers should get you interested in the film. Now, yes, if it leads to a place where it feels like false advertising, where it's like they're trying to present you with what this movie is, but it's not actually that, then no thank you.
Right.
Like, this is kind of a staple of how, like, the B-movie industry works, especially, like, 80s, 90s movies. Like, you can look at old VHS covers. You just go grab a random VHS cover of some movie from the 80s, and it'll have, like, cool action man on the front with a sweet gun and, like, totally hot babe next to him and, like, a robot and, like, aliens. And you watch the movie and none of that's in there.
Forget that. You already talked about Star Wars. The cover for Star Wars, there's Luke with his shirt open and he's got abs and he's got his lightsaber pointing toward the air and Leia's, like, draped over his leg.
Well, sure. That's, that's, I think, exactly where, maybe the abs thing being, like, a super action hero. That's not
Luke
what he is.
Ignites the lightsaber one time in the film and And when he's looking at it, he's like, "This is interesting." Yeah. And then he turns it off and he gives it back to Ben.
It's true. It's true. But that's kind of what I'm saying here. I think the cover still does present you with what's in the film. Maybe not the exact thing. Right. And I think that's what a trailer should do also, is give you the idea of what they're presenting in this movie. Yeah. I think Rogue One did that perfectly fine. I'm okay with it, with her not saying the specific line, this is rebellion, I rebel. Because we still got the idea that she was a rebel. That's a great line, and it probably should have been in there. Right. But it wasn't she wasn't just some, if she wasn't a rebellious person, if she turned out to just be, an Empire flunky. That
sounds great, sir. Yeah. I'd love to be a part of that.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that would be crazy. It would just be we just made this up to show you and maybe mislead you into thinking this movie is fair. More interesting. So, but I still think the trailers did a good job of showing you what the actual important thing is, the movie. Yeah. It gave you a general idea.
Well, to your point, there's Thanos has a quote in the movie where he says...
I was about to get to this.
Go ahead.
Stop stealing my line. Just kidding. He has a line that says in the trailer, fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe, but I have to admit, this does put a smile on my face. That's a sweet line of dialogue. That's good character building. It's interesting. It's intimidating. Yes. Because he's just having fun. It gives you a little bit about his motivation. He's balancing the universe? Yeah. What does that mean? That kind of gives you piqued interest in who this guy is. Not in the movie. Yeah. Now, does the fact that it's not in there mean that there's not the character development needed to show you who Thanos is?
Exactly. Not at all.
You know what he's doing and why he's doing it. There's a whole lot more than that.
Yeah, Thanos was the best character in that movie.
He was probably the best villain in Marvel's universe. Yeah. Just as a character. I mean, I don't know. We don't need to get into that right now. But there's others we could talk about. Killmonger was great too. But I thought that was a good example, but I also think it works really great, I would say, in comedies. I think trailer trash is great in comedies. And I will give you two examples, or not specifically comedies, but jokes. Right. Deadpool 2 has a scene in the trailer, which is a very good idea to put this in the trailer, because it was a throwback to X-Men Origins Wolverine, in which somebody shoots at Deadpool in that, with a gun, and he takes his blade and cuts through the bullet as it flies toward him, and it's super lame and actiony. And then so in Deadpool 2, the same thing happens. Cable shoots him from point blank essentially, and it's slow-mo, and he cuts the bullet in half, and then he does this and swings his blades around, because Cable keeps shooting at him, and he's cut. You can see all these bullets ricocheting Sparks, off of the blades, but then after he's done, there's all these bullet holes in his. He's oh, that was really fast.
And your bullets, they're really fast.
It's a really funny moment in the trailer. In the movie, however, and you haven't seen it, but it's not a story spoiler or anything. In the movie, that joke isn't in there, but the thing is that action, shooting and dodging. What happens is he shoots them, and he, you still see the sparks. He has all the bullet holes, and then he's just ow! There's a really perfect amount of silence. A beat goes by, and then he's just ow! And because I expected one thing and got something entirely different that was also funny, I seriously laughed at that moment. That was, and because I loved it, I thought it was funny, and also appreciated the fact that they gave me an idea of what the humor was like. Yeah, absolutely. And showed me a scene that was going to happen, and and the tone of the movie was still the same because of it, but flipped my expectation of, oh, this is different.
So, okay, so actually, that's a great point, and I could see the benefit in comedy. Time, because, now I have gotten 2 jokes for the price of 1. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't have to. Exactly. I don't have to watch the whole movie to get the comedy of your bullets are really fast. Right. That's funny.
That's a funny thing.
I get to laugh at that, but then I get to go see the movie and see him say, ow, and that's also funny. And
now the same thing happens in Solo, kind of. Well, okay. I'll give you an example of why trailer trash would have been better, and it's essentially for the opposite reason. There's a part in the trailer where he says, or Chewie, like, basically flips all these switches on the Millennium Falcon, and he's like, all of a sudden, how do you know how to fly a ship? And then
127
Chewie makes these noises, and he's like, you're 190 years old? You look great! That's a funny moment. That's funny. And that's exactly what's in the movie.
Yeah.
And because it's such a long setup, it's not just a quick, like, thing that would happen. Like, if it was a faster joke and I didn't see it coming, it might have been funnier. But because I knew the setup and the payoff from the trailer, I was just like, yep, that's where that joke is. Like, I knew what was going to happen. And
and you smile and you giggle, but it's not as funny.
Kind of. I don't know. It's like, yep, that's the joke. Like, I appreciated it before. And now I'm like, yep. And so that would have been an instance where trailer trash would have been preferable. Yeah. I really want movies like that, especially when it's not important things. Those are not important moments in the movie. I think that movie should do that. They should use, if they have more than one funny joke for a situation, use that to your advantage. Put the funnier one in the movie, put a less funny one in the trailer, and your movie, which will be the important thing, the thing you make money off of, will be better.
And here's what I want to say, and I know it's not practical. I know it's just not practical, but I want to say, if you think that joke's really going to hit and you want to hold on to it, don't put it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Just hold on to it. Or if you think there are some really great moments, but you don't want to give them away, just hold on to them.
Right.
Take snippets, quick scenes here and there, action moments or whatever else. Put those in the trailer. Make something else out of what you have.
Yeah.
And then deliver on what you're giving. And I know at that point you run the risk of having a boring trailer.
I guess, but I mean, an example of what you're talking about to me would be revealing that Doomsday was in Batman vs Superman.
Yeah,
it would still have been stupid in the plot because it was just like mutant Zod, I guess, whatever. But not knowing that he would have been there, or even Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Maybe just seeing a quick flash of... No, don't even do that, because we know the actress playing Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
There's the whole universe of marketing and also, like, behind-the-scenes knowledge that we have of movies already before they come out that kind of goes into this.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, not having Doomsday in the trailers and then him showing up in the movie would have been like, oh! And then after the movie, I would have been like, oh, wait, that was still kind of stupid. But I didn't expect it, so it would have made me feel something.
Yeah. It would have been interesting.
Yeah, it would have been
exciting.
I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
Okay, like that would have been a better use of your trailer. And there was plenty in that movie that they could have made plenty of trailers without that showing up.
Well, I mean, to Infinity War, on the counterpoint there, like they could have had a scene where you see Thor come in with his new axe and both eyes, and he comes in and he lightnings all the bad guys on Earth. That would have been a great little snip, like him in midair with lightning shooting out of an axe.
This is a good example.
A great snippet in a trailer. But they didn't put that in the trailer. And that moment, when I was watching the movie, I was like, oh, son! You know what I mean?
Son of Odin!
Yeah, that was one of the few moments I was
You need to go back and watch the trailer, because in the movie, there's a part where he gets the axe and he, it revives him, basically.
Yeah.
He holds it up and lightnings. Actually, that part might not even be in the movie. But in the trailer... It shows him, as we've seen the movie, we now know it's at that forge, and it's after he's gotten the thing, and he's holding it up, but they digitally remove the axe out of his hand in the trailer.
Oh,
it's in there and everything, and they just take it out, because they know that this is still a cool shot, and they essentially lie to you about what's in the movie.
So you don't have to have that shot in there, then. Why even have that in there? There's better things, or not better, well, probably better things you can put in there, but there are other things you can put in there. Like you could have had that scene, just one quick little snippet that I thought was super cool, and it was Falcon and War Machine zigzagging across each other and doing actual flight formations.
Aerial maneuvers and bombing runs.
And that meant nothing to the movie important.
Oh, they fight people? Okay.
Oh, gasp.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
But... It was a rad moment, and that to me, that's perfect trailer.
And now, to be fair, I don't have the trailers memorized. That might be in there somewhere, maybe half a second.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
but yeah, so I'm okay with them not literally taking out something that's in that shot. I kind of like that. Although I do remember telling my wife, oh, you can see that he's holding something, but he's not actually holding something. What's it gonna be? And that kind of got me excited. I was like, oh, what's the weapon gonna be?
Okay.
Thor has lots of legendary weapons.
A weak tool in debate is what's called the slippery slope argument.
Sure.
I'm going to use it right now.
That's fine. That's fair.
So at what point do we start saying, though, like, your trailer lied, like, that your trailer is not the movie that we asked for? Like, you know, what if it's sort of like the Rogue One moment
People
where there's
had
the TIE fighter in the background?
They were kind of angry at Disney with
the TIE fighter in the background.
One, yes.
Yeah. And what if it's like that, but the whole trailer is like that? You know what I mean? What if it's a trailer full of a villain, and then that villain is gone in the first half hour, and the other 2 hours of the movie is a different thing?
Yeah.
You know, like, that's still...
Yeah,
trailer.
That's the thing. Like, people would be. I feel like this is a place where fan backlash comes into play. I'm wondering if Disney actually like course corrected, because I don't really see like there wasn't really much of that in the Solo trailers, as far as I know. So
and this is so it's funny to me you say that, because I've heard that the Solo trailer is pretty accurate to the movie.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, pretty accurate to the movie. But to me, it was also a really boring trailer. Like, to me,
yeah.
The movie did not look great, and I have not been excited about it. For somebody who loves Star Wars, I thought the trailer looked kind of boring. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I understand the flip side of, we're never going to do trailer trash, and we're going to hold on to all of our important scenes. That leaves us with this small amount of movie to put in a trailer. It might end up being a boring trailer. And I get there's that danger, I really do, but I feel like there's got to be a middle ground there somewhere. Well, okay, let me ask you this then.
Yeah.
And let's flip-flop sides here for just a second.
Okay.
Let me ask you, at what point is trailer trash too far?
Like I said before, like, when it kind of starts to... I think what I get from a trailer, what I find important in a trailer is the tone that a movie is portraying. And maybe, I guess, plot details. But generally, if I'm going to see a movie, I don't really care. I don't need to know the plot beforehand. I honestly don't want to.
Right.
Like, I did not see... I kept myself from seeing basically anything from Age of Ultron. Except for I knew the fact that I saw a picture of what Ultron looks like on a cover of a magazine, and I had heard the term Hulkbuster somewhere. So I was like, okay, I knew those were in there.
Right.
But I had not seen a single trailer. I had not seen any, like, production photos. Like, I kept myself pretty pure from that. And I enjoy that movie a lot more than other people. So that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is what I try to get from a trailer is not really what's in the movie, but just a tone. Like, I was really excited for Thor 3 because those trailers are funny and gave a more colorful, exciting tone than the other ones I was getting. I was more excited for that than the previous two.
Yeah.
So it didn't matter what the actual, like... I get more of an emotional reaction from a trailer. And so at a certain point, what I think where it would become bad for me, like, I'd be angry, is if the trailer is trying to, like, tell me that the movie is a certain type of movie, and then is not that movie. Unless it's a clever twist and they're trying to keep something from you.
Right.
Like, if you've seen From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
I have not seen the trailers for that movie, but I really hope that they just tried to market it as, like, a tense, like... These bank robbers are trying to get over the border, and completely hid the end of the movie.
The vampire part.
I really hope they did, because I would have, personally, I mean, that was Robert Rodriguez's first movie, but it had George Clooney in it. What's his name?
Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino was in it, and he was a big name at that point.
Yeah.
So, like, I probably, if I was of
Trejo, Cheech Marin,
a higher, an older age at that
Salma
point.
Hayek.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm just rattling off actors now.
Right, I would have been perfectly fine seeing that movie, and then would have loved it if, like, it became a vampire movie. I would have been like, "Oh, that was so cool! Did not see that coming."
But there are other people who would have watched that movie and been like, "This is stupid.
This is stupid.
Why are there vampires
That guy has
now?
a gun for a penis."
Yeah.
They call him Sex Machine.
They call him Sex
And he has a
Machine.
gun that flips out in his crotch, and he shoots people with it. I would have loved it.
Yes.
But I understand if that be something that people get upset about. And so I understand, even on smaller levels, yeah, you didn't get what was in the trailer. You went to see it probably because of the trailer. And so that's a fair argument. I expect that. Personally, though, I'm looking for more of a tone to the movie. And so if you're trying to lie
rather
to me...
than the movie itself.
rather than the actual plot or, like, specific shots.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
What about you? What? Oh, you play the devil's advocate for you. Like, you've already talked about this a little bit, but
you've made a great point with comedy. Actually, I think that's a very great use of trailer trash.
Yes.
Is when you can have a good joke or a good funny moment, and it doesn't play a necessary part in the movie. And then they give you an equally funny joke or an equally funny moment in the movie, and you get 2 jokes or 2 laughs for the price of 1, and it's startling, and it's kind of out of nowhere, out of left field, and it's great, and I like that a lot. I also feel that if you try, I did kind of like, I'm not going to say I liked that the quote from Thanos was not in the movie.
Sure.
But I will say that one quote tells you nearly everything about Thanos.
Essentially.
Like, he's trying to balance the universe. He thinks he's working toward a higher goal.
Yeah.
He's not happy about this.
Right. It's not something he's gleefully doing.
Right. It's a mission to him.
Right.
And just his tone and his attitude in the quote itself, like that one quote encompassed so much of Thanos. I kind of like how they did this is Thanos.
They show you it showed that Marvel knew that they were fighting an uphill battle getting you to understand Thanos.
Right.
Because you've seen, 15, 20, 30 seconds of him?
Yeah.
Maybe there was like a scene where it was maybe a minute or 2. But you don't know who he is at all. You don't know why he's doing this.
Yeah.
You just know that he's a bad guy, I guess, because he wants these stones. And so I think that was a very intentional thing that they did.
Yeah. So that one quote tells you so much about Thanos.
Right.
Well, then when you go see the movie, you learn that just through his character. You learn all of these things through separate parts, and so the quote isn't needed anymore. Now, is it just a good quote, and do I wish it was in the movie? Yes.
It would have been
It's
cool.
a great quote, and I wish it was in the movie, but it didn't need to be. They explained all of that stuff wonderfully with the movie itself, and so I thought they did a good job of like, let us explain it to you quickly, and now let us explain it to you in the long way in the movie itself.
Sure.
So,
honestly, though, I can't think of a place in that movie where it should have shown up, though.
Right, I can't either.
Based on that, it was a good quote, but I feel like that was something that maybe they wanted to, but then as the final cut came together, especially the scene with the Soul Stone, that would have been a weird line to have after that scene.
Right.
And that's basically pre most of Thanos' screen time.
Yeah.
That's where he's not fought anybody yet, really. So it would have been out of place. And so it was a smart cut. It was a smart thing to do.
I agree. Well, guys, let us know what you think about trailer trash. Let us know some moments of trailer trash that you just were real frustrated at, like me with Rogue One or Indiana Jones and Crystal Skull. Or let us know sometimes that you really appreciated it.
Sure.
That it helped you appreciate the movie more, or really startled you in a good way. And, either way. So some really good trailer trash, some really bad trailer trash.
Is there a movie that you expected something from and then were disappointed that, maybe not specifically, but as a movie as a whole?
Yeah.
That's what I'm interested in, is what movies felt like the trailers just completely lied to you.
Yep.
Those are interesting.
Awesome, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Thanks for sharing this stuff when you do so. And remember, save games, save lives.
See you next week.